Well, good morning again, and a pleasant welcome to Spoon TV. We are live here at the Temple of Justice, where the case involving the ALP and the ANC will be resuming in a moment from now. But there's a very tense security presence here, and we hope to talk to the Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia before his entry into the courtroom. So let's move in. If we can talk. He's still talking to the security. Let's move with him. We hope to talk to him regarding the security presence here. Absolutely no one is allowed to have access to this courtyard if you are not authorized or you are not documented to have access to here.
And the issue of having people here chanting, there will be no political activity allowed. You've been here before on this ground. The woman is coming. You come here, we receive you, we carry you, from there we thereby go. So thank you this morning. So make sure that nobody come here who has nothing to do with the case come here. There is not a ground, there's not a football field where you can go to watch a game. So we don't need spectator here. Thank you.
As you can I have a word with you? Just please allow me.
I already said
I just want to talk to you, sir.
What?
Welcome again. We are back here at the Temple of Justice.
They allow you in, right? And I said they should allow you in.
I'm already in, and thank you. Why this security measure?
This is a trial. This is not a political party gathering. And during a trial, we need nothing but calmness, in the community, in the environment of the court. What happened the last time didn't augur well for a fair trial. So what we want to have today is we're having a star witness who is coming to testify. Both the presence of the security forces here, there to protect ANC people, protect ALP people, protect Unity Party people. So we don't want rival clashes between political parties group, and that's why they are here.
Why now? The last time, Mr. Cummings was booed, and the last victim was you. Why, after you were booed, this measure is being taken?
In my case, I'm a public official. People can boo me, nothing wrong with that. In fact, you saw a Liberian lady hitting me on the face. If a Liberian lady does that, it's not news. But if I do it to a Liberian lady, that's news. So that means they did it too, but I don't have a problem with that because I'm a public official. But for now, we want the whole place to be guarded and make sure that there's no crisis.
Is it because the former vice president is coming and he's an interest?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So if you just joining us, we are here. This is Spoon TV. Like I told you earlier, there is a very serious security measure here. Absolutely no one is allowed to enter if you are not authorized or recognized by the team. And I'm told only 10 from each political party will be allowed to enter, including officials. That has to do with Cummings is part of the 10 and Boakai is part of the 10. So if you're just joining us, I'm here with Damas Slanger. Together, we're going to be here. And like you listened to the Solicitor General, right? It was very difficult for us to have access in. He had to authorize to say these people are separate, let them enter. Damas, welcome again.
Thank you, James. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the time is for those of you watching us. In Liberia, it's just 16 minutes after 10 a.m.
Yeah.
And this is the quietest since this trial began, James, that I've heard the grounds of the Temple of Justice be. This is not a place that people come and make noise, unless for those arguing in court and those who might be professing their innocence, right? But since this trial began, which is a national trial and has got international attraction as well, now we have the wife of the former British Prime Minister to
investigate. She's a private investigator.
Yeah.
She's a private investigator.
So that alone, with her being included in this case, it has also gotten the attention of the British media, because now they're wanting to know what is their former Prime Minister's wife involvement in the case. It's going to attract British interest as well.
And you really think the British media is also going to come?
No, I'm not saying that they might or they might not come here, but the fact that she is a key personality there in the United Kingdom, and being involved in several international and high-profile cases around the world, it will trigger British media interest to know what she's doing and how she's doing it. But let's come back home. We'll take our camera and take a walk around the grounds here of the Temple of Justice. As James rightly put it, the security is really beefed up. It's really tight. On days prior to this, you would have seen party supporters and sympathizers and the well-wishers, any way you want to classify them, you know, they would have been sitting all along the railings there, you know, all along the banisters, if you want to put it that way. But if you, even to enter the grounds here, even if you have a case, if you have an assignment, you should show your rate of assignment. You should show documents to prove that either you come in to file a lawsuit against somebody, or you've got a case, or you come in to testify. The security protocol is very, very rigorous, James.
And we also saw that with the former foreign minister. He was stopped. And he kept saying, I have a case here, I have a case here, until at the end of the day, I think I said, he's the former foreign minister before he was allowed to enter. So that's how the security measure is like. No one absolutely is allowed to have access to this place. But that one, I'm wondering, why now?
That's the question you asked.
Now, the last time we saw people here with placards intended to, you know, should we say, quote unquote, disgrace the former vice president or protesting against the former vice president, and Mr. Cummings was also booed. We did not see these actions coming to place, but just yesterday, the SG was booed, and now they are saying that they need serious security measures. Is it again that the former vice president is coming today and they don't want what happened the last time to repeat itself, or what's the problem?
You know,
or are we going to continue with this measure throughout this case?
Okay, so to answer the question why now, the SG somewhat evaded the question why now, though he said he's a public official. But those who are security experts will tell you, containing a situation, not allowing a situation to become volatile, or even in our common English, we say prevention is better than cure. This is the cure that we're seeing now. It could have been prevented
a long time
ago. This trial from the onset would have featured high-profile witnesses, whether from the defense or from the prosecution. You know, what we did see was a handful of riot police officers.
The lead lawyer of Mr. Cummings, legal team, has just arrived. Good morning, sir. Welcome to school.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Today we see you coming back to court. It's been a couple of days I stopped seeing you, but you are coming to a ground where we have a very serious security measure here. What do you think? What's the implication this has to do with the ongoing trial by stopping your supporters from coming in?
Well, I'm not involved with the politics, so it is not customary for me to come and see supporters or crowd around. We are concerned about legal matters. We represent the defendants, and so if the state thinks that there's a threat, or that the presence of a huge crowd will pose some kind of a threat to anybody's lives, and has taken the appropriate measure to provide security, that is welcome. I just hope that there is not any attempt to have anybody intimidated in any way possible.
This case is taking a long time now. We have private investigators coming in from Britain, and we're still going with this case. Do you still believe that you have a case against this government? Are you going to win this case? Because the last time we listened to you, you said, yes, I'm on top of this case. But today, we have the former vice president coming to court to testify against his former best friend.
No. I think the question should be posed to the prosecution. They have a burden to prove the allegations. The failure to have done so and to come to court, issue the writ of arrest, commence a trial without evidence, that's the question you should pose to them. Because it surprises me the most to see that even after we have spent 6 months, say 5 months, into this matter, they are still scouting around for the evidence. So they do not have the evidence at all. They are scouting around. The idea about Ambassador Joseph Boakai coming to testify is all intended to fuel the crisis within the CDC, make the crisis in the CDC,
the CPP,
unreconcilable, and to make sure that it's more rift between Cummings on the one hand and Boakai on the other hand. I can tell you for free, Boakai testimony has no evidentiary value. It has no probative value. The only intent is political. It's intended to fuel more crisis between Boakai and Cummings, saying they are the two potential leaders within the CPP, and the net effect of that is to make sure that the both of them become
Yeah.
the both of them become unreconcilable. That's what it is.
Thank you, lead counsel. My question is, sir, with the heavy presence of security we did witness when your client, Mr. Cummins, was booed by those believed to be supporters of his detractors, I should put it. With the heavy presence of security, sir, do you agree? Is it in your agreement that, okay, I want this, or do you see this as a threat or an intimidation tactics? The SG said is to protect everybody, but what do you think the heavy security presence means?
Well, I have said Mr. Cummins did not give rise to this. You have said it rightly that the United Party, the ALP, mobilized the people. They came here. It was all televised by you all. Mr. Cummins was booed. He was called no rule. He was, there were all sort of names. That was a provocation. So if that provoked the state to deploy the security, and if it's in the interest of everyone, I am very happy about that. But I said I hope it is not an attempt to intimidate, instill fear, in the population. Because we have had the matter prior to Joseph Boakai coming. We appear here every day. We had a trial. It went on smoothly. If his presence will cause insecurity and give reason to the state to deploy the kind of security forces we see here today, beautiful. We encourage it. We just hope that it is not an attempt to intimidate anybody or into suppression. That's all about it.
All right. We hope to talk to you after. All right. That is it. You just listened to Councillor Sida, and he's the lead lawyer representing the AMC's interest, and he supports the security measures here. And he believes that it is not just politically motivated, and they're going to continue with it to be in the interest of everyone. Yeah, we listen to him.
Yeah. That had a condition, James, to his statement that if it is not intended to intimidate his clients, and if it's in good faith, if the government providing security, especially
they're going to give them 10 individuals will be allowed to enter.
10. But another thing he raised was the fact that throughout the process, prior to the appearance of Ambassador Joseph Boakai, the former vice president, this trial, in his words, had been going on peacefully without any disturbance or disturbances. But since the appearance, so he is pointing to the fact that because Ambassador Boakai is appearing, that is why we've got a lot of commotion over the past few days. Is he implying that Ambassador Boakai comes along with trouble, or his supporters are the ones causing trouble? But those were his words. Now we have Councillor Good is also coming up. Probably you want to have a few words.
Yeah, let's talk to Gu, Honorable Gu. You're moving like somebody who's very serious. What's happening?
We're very serious.
Can I get this on you, sir? Okay.
We're very serious. This is a trial that has the liberty and the integrity of a man with impeccable records at stake. And so it's something to be concerned about.
You look angry. Is it that the security measures here is prompting a vase?
No. I don't see the connection. I don't know what the relevance of that question is. I am just focused on a trial that is clearly a bogus trial.
You always describing this trial as a bogus trial.
It's frivolous.
Why? Why you think this trial is a bogus trial when you've been into this for about 5 months and you have not been able to convince the judge that the government has no case?
Well, you see, the procedure of trial is the state, in a criminal trial, is the state that will proffer the evidence at first.
Okay.
And so the state is trying to do, when it gets the turn for the defendant, you will find out whether or not we can dispose of this trial. You will find out then. So right now it's the state, and you see that they have it all drawn up because there's no evidence. They started off by asking us to provide the evidence against our client, asking the client himself to provide that evidence, something that's very strange and irregular. And so every day we come, they're asking for excuses. When the prosecution have a case, they are eager to try a person because the Constitution requires that one accused will be tried speedily. But you find out that they are not doing it, and so clearly you can tell that they certainly don't have any evidence.
Basically,
and the reason I'm so emphatic, because I know the individuals and I know what the facts are.
okay,
I worked on the document as well, and I know what the facts are. There is not a single sentence, word that was changed.
okay, yeah, we will know at the end of the day whether there were changes or not. Basically,
So
today,
then why you ask the question now?
basically today, the former vice president is expected to appear in court. What are the procedures like today in court? What are those things that you're going to be touching? Is it only the appearance of the former vice president?
Well, look, I think that question is good for the prosecution, but they are preferring him as a witness on their behalf. He will come to speak to, or he should come to speak to what he knows. He should be factual about it. And once they rest with him, it will be our time to cross-examine him. They will direct him, and we will have the right to cross-examine him. Depending on what he says, we'll make a determination whether or not to cross-examine him or to dispose of him. Once that process is finished, depending on what we do, they will have a right to redirect, and we will have a right to recross, depending on what is done before those last two that I mentioned. So once that happens, then we rest with him. So they are profiling him as a witness on their behalf. We will have the right to rigorously cross-examine him, to impeach the credibility of what he says, and that would be our goal, to impeach that. And, and we will not relent to do that if there's something contrary to what we all know.
Boakai is coming to court today. What this means to the opposition community, the opposition that wants to boot President, we are out of power, comes 2023.
It's quite unfortunate, particularly unfortunate for him as well, as an elder in the land, to have been drawn up in this, trial in this kind of way is quite unfortunate. But such is the time, such is the condition. I would never have advised my political leader to get involved with a trial like this, because, as I said to you, it's frivolous.
No, he did not come in. Let's get a record straight. He was subpoenaed. He did not just get in because he wanted to come. That's the law.
It's okay. He was subpoenaed, so we accept that. Listen, before the state subpoena you as their witness, they would have spoken with you.
Okay.
And if they find out that you will be harmful to their case, or you will not help their case, they may not subpoena you. Okay. So, I mean, you know very well that they had a conversation. It was leaked in the press prior to coming. That is a call that he has made. Posterity will look onto it. What I'm very sure of is that Mr. Cummings did no wrong. We're very sure this is a man of impeccable character. This is a man he's an earnest, decent man. I worked with him. I know this kind of man. He would not have allowed anybody to do such.
Okay, while we are waiting Cummings to come in or for you to resume, I'm sorry if I'm taking much of your time. There's this news around the city about the coal group. Have you been fortunate to listen to Martin Kula's interview on 50/50?
Yes, and that's a shame. And that's a shame that whilst we were in the collaboration together, the Unity Party, along with others, ALP and others, were hell-bent on stopping Cummings' shot at the standard bearership, and so they conspired, in bad faith, I would say, and they were having meetings as to how to stop him, because they knew that this man was in a hurry to change this country, and this is a man on a mission to change our country, and because he was in a hurry, they knew that they had to do something to stop him. So that has come out as a result of all these hulubalus. So, God is working. And it's a beautiful
But some of those who carry on the conspiracy are with you today. The likes of Kula and others, they are still with you.
That's how God works, my friend.
You're working with your enemy now.
Sometimes, I don't know whether we have any enemies.
I mean, he's part of those who
No, they are adversaries. There's no enemies in this process. They are adversaries. People can go astray and repent.
Okay.
I mean, you know that in all religious books, you heard the story of the prodigal son and other things. So those people are coming now and explaining things that they were led to do. Okay. This is a shame for our country. I mean, just because of the fear of primaries, we're having all of these things. Okay. All that we have put together for all these years, all these months, is going down the drain because somebody has so much fear for primaries. And that's the only democratic way out. There's no other way out, my friend.
Okay.
So the Liberian people will see clearly. We're not deterred by these frivolous charges. We'll go through it. The truth will come out. This is a man who has even volunteered himself to an international credible investigation team to run a forensic investigation because he's very sure that he did nothing wrong. And we're very sure of that.
All right, thank you, and we hope to talk to you after.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. You just listened to Councillor Gu there giving his view on the.
All right, folks. We're still live here on the grounds of the Temple of Justice, where you can see a very heavy security presence here. Security officers, police officers who are present are carrying assault rifles, tear gas, canister guns. They dressed in their full rioting gear. We'll just take a look around, so Gerasi will come along with us so that we can just give you a view of how the grounds are today. This is quite different from previous days of the trial. They've used their shields to form a barricade. Also there, they're using the air conditioner box, what they keep the air conditioner in so that it doesn't get stolen. They're using that as a barricade as well. So there are also police officers here. So usually this place will be very crowded, but this place is quite deserted today. Usually you find a large crowd, people standing, discussing whether supporters of the ALP, ANC, the LP, whichever political party. But this whole place is inaccessible to those who do not have any role to play, and only 10 supporters from each of the camps will be allowed entry into the Monrovia City Court. So meaning you only have 30 persons from the various parties involved. 10 from each camp will be allowed entry into the Monrovia City Court. That is based on the mandate of the Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia, Councillor CPP. So only 30 persons will be given access to the Monrovia City Court, aside those who will be on the docket. That's those who take the witness stands, including Joseph Boakai or Mr. Cummins, who will be sitting with his counsel at the defendant table. And the prosecution will have lead chair being Councillor CPP, the Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia. So we want to take you around. We'll keep showing you around. This is quite different from previous days, and this is based on the fact that there was a huge scene of violence against not just the Solicitor General, but against Mr. Cummins. We did witness when Mr. Cummins was booed. The government did not bring or beef up the police presence here. But the Temple of Justice now, to get access, if you have a case that is on trial, you have to show your document of assignment before you be allowed entry. If you are a lawyer, you have to show your credentials before you will be allowed entry. So even for us journalists, we had to show our ID cards, including there is a list of selected journalists who are given access to. So today the grounds are much quieter than previous days as well. So we've not seen Mr. Cummins yet. We've not seen Mr. Cummins, but we've seen people from the ANC Women Congress. They've got their vehicle parked further towards the main entrance. You see some supporters and some employees as well here of the Liberia judicial system. They're sitting there. So this entire place, Gerasi, if you can just show all this area that I'm standing and walking and I'm pacing about on, all of this place is, you don't have access if you don't have anything to do with a case that is in court as well. So this has reduced the probability of violent scuffles happening here today. So James, you were asking the question as to why now, and you had a lengthy conversation with Councillor Good. Someone would say this is a bit late, some damage has been done already, this is a bit late. But another person will argue and say, look, once people weren't physically injured and properties weren't destroyed, probably the government thought it wouldn't have reached this far, it wouldn't have tipped over as it did. So it's better now, it's better late than never.
That means that they did not do their calculation well, because this is a political case. You have 2 big or 3 big or 4 big political parties involved into this case. So it means that they're going to come with their supporters. And when these forces meet, they are anti one another. So what's going to happen at the end of the day? You're going to have another one provoking the other, and another one will be there to provoke. So I think it was a miscalculation from them. And thank God they have come to a point where they have to recalibrate to say, hey, we need to stop you guys from coming in. And I think it should not just be limited to this case. This place should be well secured and kept quiet at all times. I think this is okay, and they should continue with that. From the look of things, I see Cummins personal security guys around, so it tells you that Cummins is around. He's around here. Any moment from now, he's going to be stepping down. And the former vice president, I'm told he's on his way also coming to the Supreme Court.
Okay. So folks, Spoon TV Live will remain live. Okay, so talking about that's the Chief Justice.
The Chief Justice, yeah. Let's give way.
We have to
you have to move from there.
His parking space, the Chief Justice is making his way. Totally unrelated to what is happening.
No. He's coming to work.
Yeah, making his way to work.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. So back to the case. The lead counsel for Mr. Cummins did say the government is bringing or has subpoenaed Mr. Boakai to testify, not for him to give evidentiary, testimony, but rather to deepen the rift.
And Damo, you want to fall for this too?
That has worked to some extent.
Yeah,
that has worked to some extent. We did see when Mr. Boakai
what's the working in that?
Cummins supporters were booing at him, and they were
okay. Mr. Cummins has arrived.
Mr. Cummins has arrived as well.
Cummins.
So you can have a little chat with him.
Yeah.
Whether or not today is going to turn out, what does he think about today?
Yeah. So, folks, if you're just joining us, ANC Arrowhead, Mr. Alexander Cummins has arrived here at the Monrovia City Court. Honorable Cummins, welcome.
Wait. Hello, Chief.
How are you, sir?
It's okay.
I don't know why Cummins Security wants to be arrogant at this point. I don't really know whether they want to take over the security here. They nearly damaged our camera. The sound you heard, it came from the security officer. It came from the security officer, Cummins Security. He nearly damaged our camera. They're preventing us from talking to Mr. Cummins. I don't know why. The state security has nothing to do with that, but he prevented us hitting our camera. But yeah, maybe that was what they planned, that Cummins should not talk to any journalist. You saw the guy there.
Yeah.
I think the police should be doing what he did, but the police officers were very far, and the guy rushed on our cameraman, almost got him down, nearly damaged the camera. I don't know why. Why today Cummins Security is being, this security officer is being arrogant this way? Is it he's being somehow being talked to because he's seeing security officers here? He wants to show that he's the personal security for his boss?
Well, he's responsible for the safety of his boss, VIP protection. That is his VIP to protect. Whatever the mandate is, whether the mandate
but they have not been like this, Damo.
Or whoever in his camp, or whatever reason, that is left with him to give us his reason for doing so. Sometimes security officers don't want you to talk to whoever it is they're protecting or they're serving as bodyguards for, but that is unfortunate. We pray that it doesn't happen again.
No, man. I think Cummins Security will have to. They will have to rethink their decision. You cannot keep hitting our cameraman like you are in force with him.
Somebody from video taping or doing a live recording. So we hope and pray they'll address that issue because that in a way is assault. Yeah.
No, he assaulted the
That's
guy,
assault on his
hitting
person.
him,
Yeah, as
hitting the
well.
camera.
We don't-
If he was not shown by now,
Yeah.
our camera was going to be down.
But that just goes to tell you how tensions are flaring.
But
at
what's
this
the
place.
tension
So,
here, bro? You have security
yeah.
officers here providing security. These guys are working with Mr. Cummings, making sure that nobody can come around Cummings. And this young man just come from the backside, penetrated the police boundary to hit our cameraman. I was like even speechless to ask Cummings again, because my next thinking was if we were going to continue, we were going to be hit. Yeah.
Well, all right, so folks, happenings live here on the grounds of the Temple of Justice. Mr. Cummings has entered the Monrovia City Court, and now
Okay,
we've
calling
been told
for
that they're calling
representation.
for representation. So both the defense and the prosecution counsel will have to make sure that they're present and say, okay, yeah, defense counsel present, represented
So,
by
Diamond
prosecution
is
counsel
here basically to welcome
Mr. Boakai.
Mr. Boakai. The former vice president will be arriving any moment from now. That is why you see the Solicitor General out here to welcome him. He's here with the former Chief Justice.
Madam
They
Gloria
are all
Mususka.
here to make sure that Boakai is welcome. But today, I'm observing something, Diamond. I hope you're observing it too. The last time Boakai appeared here, it was the Solicitor General who welcomed Boakai. He went there alone. But today, is it that the pictures that came, the folks are now waiting to see that picture coming up again? We have his personal lawyer standing by the Solicitor General. Let's see how the interaction is going to be. Who's going to open the door for Boakai? Who's going to welcome
The question
Boakai
is,
first?
whose witness is Mr. Boakai? Mr. Boakai
Government's
is government's
witness.
witness. He's state witness.
Yeah.
So this is the lead counsel.
So
of the
just
state.
get our
So,
camera set.
yeah.
From the time they will be
Whether
coming, we
it's
have to keep
it's
up.
to dilute the picture of that, okay, Mr. Boakai also had his legal counsel represented, but Mr. Boakai is now on trial here. He's just a witness.
Yeah.
And he's brought here based on the request of the government. They subpoena him to come and give testimony.
Yeah.
So he's just here to give testimony, and he's a state witness.
Yeah.
Though the defense counsel will have their time to cross-examine him, but he's here as a state witness. And many people have been thinking whether he's testifying against Mr. Cummings. No, we have to make it clear that Mr. Boakai is not here to testify.
No, he's not
against
testifying
Mr.
against Cummings.
In fact, his testimony could either go in a way favor Mr. Cummings, or to go against the fact that Mr. Cummings, might have tampered with documents as alleged by the ALP and the Republic of Liberia, because now this is a case, the Republic of Liberia versus Mr. Cummings.
But again, we all know that Boakai is not coming to testify against Cummings. But Cummings supporters believed that as now Boakai is coming in, he's testifying against their arrowhead. That is, whatever he's going to be saying in court today will go against Cummings.
How sure are they? Is there anything to hide?
The issue of the law where they subpoena Cummings to come out, that is Boakai rather, to come and testify. They believe that he was already programmed to come and speak against their political leader.
So
That's
this
the
is not
belief of
about
them.
speaking
So the Solicitor General is
against
moving
the character
in back.
of Mr. Cummings. This is about giving evidence to a document. This is about giving evidence to events that occurred. This is about question based on substantial evidence, whether it's a circumstantial case or it's a ironclad bulletproof or a case that is based on substantial evidence.
You mean 2022 bulletproof jacket?
Yeah. The thing is, Mr. Boakai is going to answer questions based on his knowledge and based on the evidence that is provided by the prosecution. The defense counsel, and as many legal luminaries do know, evidence is shared. You must give the other team, whether it's the defense or the prosecution, you should share evidence so that they know you don't bring and introduce new evidence without the knowledge of the other counsel or the other counselors, right? So whatever it is, the defense counsels already have their questions jotted down as well. So Mr. Boakai will be cross-examined unless they reserve the right not to cross-examine him. Mind you,
they're going to do it. You listen to Councilor
the
Gu. He
prosecution
said
is
they
still
will.
presenting their witnesses. When there's a time for the defense will also present their witnesses as well. So probably the defense could call on Mr. Boakai again to say, okay, come and testify for us or not. So let's see how it goes.
Let's get to an agreement between you and I. When Boakai arrives here, you take charge of the broadcast, and I take charge of the camera to take pictures. Get,
problem.
get the phone, get a camera.
No problem.
Right.
So we're still awaiting the
You're
arrival
gonna
of
take,
the
you're gonna take
former
charge
vice
of the
president.
commentary, and I will take
Yeah.
care of the picture
But
aspect.
Let's just conclude on what you were saying. That
Yeah,
some
go
ANC folks are thinking that Mr. Boakai is going to dig a hole for Mr. Kumi.
Yeah,
So
they
listen
believe
to
that-
his
yeah, they
lead
believe-
counsel,
yeah.
Councillor Sila, also saying this is more political than legal. The government is wanting to widen the rift between the two so as to keep them apart, to say, okay,
So
you
what-
testify, you didn't testify, and all that. But once
Okay.
again,
I'm coming.
Mr.
Let
Boakai is
me-
only going to
let me
testify to what
interrupt
he
you a
knows,
bit.
what evidence is there.
Let me interrupt you. Boakai has arrived.
But he's going through security checks.
He's going through security check. And what I listened to, the SG is instructing his colleague that after the submission, there will be a 5 minutes.
Recess.
There will be a 5 minutes break.
Okay.
Yeah, the 5 minutes break. At that time, they will have Boakai. So he's currently undergoing through security check because of the security measures here.
All right, so from inside the Monrovia City Court, both prosecution and defense counsels are currently sitting in court, absent the SG, and they're waiting for the judge to call the trial, to say that the trial has begun for today. So they're waiting for the judge to call the trial as well. So we've been informed that the former vice president is outside the gate there, going through security checks. And once he arrives, we'll give you live pictures as well. James will then turn to a still photographer. And we'll
I
see
will.
whether or not we can have a conversation with the former vice president.
Did you really see the pictures that Spoon captured when the former vice president appeared here for the first time?
You're talking about those pictures that were
Those-
posted on the page?
Yeah, those pictures that we captured, looking at who was the first that went to the car to welcome the former vice president was the Solicitor General, who is dressed up in dominant white.
Is his witness?
Yeah, it is his witness, but this was the interpretation in the media and the Liberian public, right? That it was an endorsement picture that Boakai or his supporters or his staffers allowing the Solicitor General to go to his vehicle and welcome him in. And the pictures, they said it was planned by the SG. So maybe I'm just it is just something that I'm trying to come up with, right? We did not see Madam Scott there the last time when that happened, the former Chief Justice. We did not see her. But today, she's standing side by side with the SG. So it's like they want to tell or re-narrate that story, that what you saw the first time when Boakai arrived was a mistake that we made. So today,
What was the mistake?
the mistake was to allow the SG to welcome the former vice president from his vehicle, walk with him, talk to him side by side. I think, and they believe that they should have been the one. They believe that they should have been the one to walk with the former vice president
His
and,
legal counsel?
and turn him over to the SG or escort him to court or wherever they were taking him for rest, instead of the SG being in the lead. If you were here on that day,
I was.
you were here. You were here. We saw the SG. He was in the front of everything. Even when the former vice president was leaving, we still had the SG walking with him side by side. So today,
Okay,
it's
so
like
this is the thing.
That story may likely get a
If we
different
had-
face.
If we had a state prosecutor, or in other countries they call district attorney, the DA,
Yeah.
who has brought a witness to testify to the court, you see that the witness is always in the presence of the DA or
This is
whatever
the
county
point.
attorney
The-
that is the
The
lead
SG,
counsel
I'm
or
coming,
the counselors on
Damo.
that
The
table.
SG is from the government, and people thought that it was an endorsement. Let's get it right. Some said it was an endorsement. Even the Spoon Talk team discussed it. They discussed the picture. Okay, so the former vice president has arrived.
Okay.
Get the pictures ready. So
Okay.
you take the lead, and I become the cameraman for now.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's see if the former vice president will give a few words to us. So our cameraman will have to be set. We have the Solicitor General. All right, so there you have it again. Yeah. And he's flanked by other councillors as well. All right. Mr. Ure is also making his way. Mr. Ure is also here. And the former vice president. There he is. Okay. So the former vice president is greeting his council. Honorable Boakai, welcome, sir. Sir, this testimony, some are saying is going against Mr. Cummins, but are you just here to provide evidence, sir, or this is more political than it seems? Okay, so he's not answering any questions, just escorted to the Monrovia City Court, asking whether or not he's just here to provide evidence or he views this as more political. The former vice president just made his way to the Monrovia City Court, so he's making his way there to serve as a witness. Whether or not he will testify today, that is another question, James. We've had a lot of stoppages, we've had a lot of delays when it comes to the testimony of the former vice president. You know, as you said, there will be a 5-minute recess. But the question is whether or not he will testify today.
From the look of things, I think he will testify today. The last time we saw him when he came, they took him to a resting room.
Yeah.
And he did not have access to the courtroom. But today, from the vehicle straight to the courtroom. And we saw changes.
There have been so many twists in this one trial.
Okay, let's analyze.
So many
let's put
twists
this way.
in this one trial. And it wouldn't come as a surprise if the former vice president doesn't give testimony today.
Yeah, it's possible.
It wouldn't come as a surprise.
It's possible another
submission might
another
be made,
submission will come out.
So it's still far from predictable.
Yeah.
You can only give analysis, but it's still far from being predictable whether or not the former vice president will give his testimony today. And as to how many days he will be on the witness stand for, that is something again that is not predictable. You know, whether he might take the stand only for today, whether tomorrow, whether 3 days, whether 4 days. It depends on the questions, the cross-examinations, whatever documents that will be submitted. And everything that happens in that court, folks, will be giving you information as it unfolds there. But the information is Mr. Cummins has arrived. He arrived before the former vice president. Now, former vice president Joseph Yoman Boakai, the standard bearer of the United Party, has also made his way in the Monrovia City Court, accompanied by Mr. Bernard Ure of the All Liberian Party. We have the lead prosecutor, the lead counsel, the Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia there, also made his way, and the lead counsel for Mr. Cummins, Councillor Silla, is also there in court. So once the trial resumes, you know, we'll be giving you information as it filters in, James.
Did you observe what I observed when Boakai arrived? When the Solicitor General made his way to the vehicle, he was stopped. They said you have to wait for who?
Mr. Ure.
Mr. Ure to come in. And they waited for a few seconds. Ure came in before they could open that car, before the car was open for the former vice president to step out. So I told you that there were going to be some corrections here.
But it wasn't Mr. Ure who turned Mr.
No,
Boakai over.
it wasn't. But the issue is, the last time when Boakai arrived here, Ure was here, but they did not call Ure to come in. They did not call any of his team members to go in.
What if it's
only the solicitor that
what
went
if
in.
it's a march to show that they are together through this?
Then why, when they came the last time, Ure did not go to the vehicle?
James.
And I think they calculated it well, and it was a good drama
why
that
are we
they
making a mountain out of a molehill?
What is the molehill here?
The SG still said, Honorable Boakai, you are welcome.
Yes,
that is his
but at
witness.
least
he was
we
the
did not
one
see
who
what
said,
happened
he was the one
yesterday.
who said, let's make our way into the court.
Yeah, because this is his terrain, but
So
coming down from the vehicle, he needed to be welcomed by
Oh, please. Oh, please. Mr. Ure got down he disembarked from his vehicle. He wasn't even the one who ushered Mr. Boakai in. It was the
At
SG.
least they allow him to come
So
close.
it's just a walk that, okay,
Yeah.
Ure and Boakai.
Then why they have to say let Ure come in? Why they have to say let's
They
wait for
have
Ure?
planned their protocol. They have planned their movement.
So the
but
past
at the end of the
protocol,
day,
was
it was
that
the
plan good?
Solicitor General who again welcomed Honorable Boakai and ushered him
Yes.
to the court.
But this time around, we did not see the Solicitor General going into the vehicle, almost into the vehicle to welcome.
What's this?
This
Is it
is
not the Solicitor
stepping
General?
down. He's stepping down already. And I think it was okay. And I think it was a well arranged.
Now, what's this? Is it not the Solicitor General, the former Vice President, shaking hands? Where is Mr. Ure in this picture? Where is he?
At least Ure was standing today. We did not see him
So
going
has
into
that
it. So
diluted
at least the ANC folks will not say
Clara one. There they are, shaking hands.
They will not say at least endorsed the CPP government.
Yeah, they are.
It's very clear. We're going to make use of them again. All right. We stay here at the Temple of Justice.
All right. So we've got
Okay, give us the update.
extra information. So from our judicial correspondent, the two teams have made their various representations and are now ready for submission to the court. Councillor Abraham said on the 3rd and the 11th day of May, he asked the court for brief absence in court. And the former vice president just arrived in court along with ALP political leader and other party officials to be identified. So that was just from what happened outside. They've now entered the Monrovia City Court. And the lead counsel, Abraham Silla,
he's the lead
said
counsel.
he asked the court, he prayed for absence on the 3rd and the 11th. Yeah. And that was just a submission. But my ears
What is it?
overheard something.
What is that you heard?
And this is just a disclaimer. My ears overheard.
What is
I was
that?
eavesdropping, and I heard something about a subpoena.
Subpoena against
Another
who?
subpoena.
Against
I did hear something like a tenant,
who?
but that's what I'm saying. It's still unclear. But
So,
don't
okay,
be.
it's unconfirmed.
It's unconfirmed. That's what
yeah,
I said.
go ahead. So they already know it's unconfirmed.
probably there is another subpoena cooking.
For who?
I heard, I overheard, if my ears did get the words right, that when the other councillor asked the SG, I'm going to make the representation, any submission, and I heard him say, if I heard him correctly again, that except will be subpoena,
I overheard that too.
Then I heard a superintendent, but I don't know who superintendent that is. But I overheard some subpoena. That's why I'm asking you, what do you think on that?
We had,
this trial.
I'm coming. We had superintendent in the CPP when they came together.
I don't
If I
know.
can get, but there will be many. The last time he even talked about it, Senator Yombili Kanga Lawrence will come, according to him. Even Ben Ure, the possibility of him coming is wild. They talk about that. The last interview we had with him, he said these people will come in. Even more Ali should be coming, but at least today they're dealing with Boakai.
So many days of trial we have ahead. Because mind you, after all these witnesses are presented by the prosecution, the defense will also have to present their witnesses as well. And you get delays, you get recesses, you get adjournments, you get a lot of things. And as Mr. Cummins' lawyers have said, whether this is just to delay and to drag them longer.
5 months? We're gone 5 months.
And many more months to go.
Yeah, many more.
Many more months.
We're gone 5. Maybe the last time I overheard 30 witnesses, we came down. The last interview we had with the Solicitor General, he spoke around 13, 14 more witnesses, including the former Vice President. So even let's go by these witnesses to come, it's going to take us about 2 to 3 months. Looking at assignment, submissions coming, objections, all of these things coming.
Some of those witnesses might pray for medical leave.
Yeah, medical leave.
Some
all
might
of these
be out
things
of the country. You have to bring them to. You have to allow them to come to Liberia to testify. Some will be unwilling. You have to file for a subpoena. So this is far from over. But what we can tell you that is currently happening is we have got the former Vice President, Honorable Joseph Yoman Boakai, now there in the Monrovia City Court. Whether he will take the witness stands today, we'll let you know once we get the information coming in. But he was accompanied by the political leader of the All Liberian Party, Honorable Bernard Ure, former Chief Justice, Councillor Gloria Musu Scott, and then the Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia, who's the lead chair for the prosecution, Councillor Sima Serenas Sifas, as well. Mr. Cummins is also in open court there in the Monrovia City Court, and only 10 supporters from each camp will be allowed entry. So for those who have been complaining that the courtroom is quite hot,
it's not going to be hot.
It's not going to be so hot today because there will be a lot of space. and there is very, very heavy security presence. We have policemen with assault rifles. We have policemen carrying sticks in their rioting gears. We have policemen with their tear gas canister guns. So we'll just show you around.
I think I'm becoming to like it, to love it. That we're not going to get the noise that we got here yesterday. We're not going to get the noise that we got here yesterday when we came. We saw folks rushing. But let's see if we will get update from our colleague there within the courtroom. He's updating us as it relates to things that are happening, giving us live updates.
All right, so no new updates as of yet. And once we get those updates coming in, we will definitely bring you up to speed.
I want us to look at this. We attended events a couple of months back where we had Ben Ure this way, Boakai here, and Cummins here. And basically that is what's going on in the court today. Basically.
What was between them? A table?
They had tables. They had tables.
So are you pointing to the fact that they had already separated themselves on both sides?
No, I'm just imagining, capturing the image of the way they are seated within a courtroom. Remember, these are people who went together yesterday. They planned to say, hey, these are our strategies in winning the CDC. I know they did that because they came together as a collaboration. And today,
a very successful collaboration.
Yeah, and today they are in court, and not in court to defend one of their friends, but they are in court to prove a case against one. Two already in court, and the other is sitting. So I'm just imagining how these guys are looking at each other. Oh my God, I hope they were going to allow the media to be in. The cutaway was going to be very beautiful. So capturing the guys one after another.
From what I'm getting from you, Mr. Boakai is going to be looking at Mr. Cummins with a frown.
Oh no, you know basically it's going to happen.
With a frown.
Yeah, it is not a friendly conversation they're going to be having.
Frown.
Yeah. And you know, Cummins has a beautiful way of looking at people at times, right? When he's not waiting to look at you, but he's compared to look at you. Cummins always has that tendency of looking like this, you know, just taking a deep cut with his eyes. At times he uses his left eyes or right eyes to take a deep cut and look at you somehow. Oh my God, I hope we're going to be allowed to broadcast this.
The media in any country, the media sometimes embellishes things.
Yeah.
You know, and this is a field day for any media in any country.
Yeah.
This is a field day. It's like being in the Secret Service or in our EPS here, as we call it. A very well-trained Secret Service agent, on average, might only use his service revolver or his service rifle in his entire career once or twice.
Yeah.
Same. So for journalists, these are the kind of stories you want to see happening and to cover, because they make news no matter what, any angle you twist it from. There you are trying to bring the angle that they are not going to look at each other with friendly faces.
You really think they're going to be friendly in our courtroom today?
Frowning and all those kind of things, you know, the thing that will not happen is they will not throw jabs at each other.
No, they're not going to do it. They are metro. They are not like some of their adherents.
Each person is going to keep to himself. And Mr. Cummins, I'm sure if he's got any questions, any reservations or whatever, he'll be speaking in the ears of his counselors.
Yeah, his counselors.
And Mr. Boakai is just a witness. He's just a witness. He's just a witness.
Nimba County District Number 8 Representative, Honorable Larry Yankwa. Honorable Yankwa, welcome. Welcome back from the United States. Welcome to school. You're here today. We have the two political leaders now. In Cummins is in and Boakai is in. What do you make up of Boakai's testimony today?
That's great. It's great. It's part of democracy. It's part of the beauty of democracy.
Okay. We talk to you later. Again, welcome back. All right. He's rushing in, so no need to continue. We will talk to them after today's court appearance. We will talk to all of those who are in, those who will give us the time. We hope
we don't get pushed.
We hope we will not be pushed again by Cummins security officers, specifically the bright security fellow who hit our cameraman, who assaulted our camera operator, And we hope that is not going to repeat itself. He's going to give us the time to talk to Cummings. And one fight, Cummings was not happy with his attitude.
Well, we'll get his his own
reaction.
To
Cummings reacted to it in a professional way. What's happening?
Yeah.
What's happening?
That was ugly.
Yeah.
That was really ugly.
It was okay on his part.
But just to refresh our minds, some people might be wondering how come this ground is so quiet today.
Oh yeah, we are enjoying our ears. No noise.
It's really quiet today. Yeah. Those who are supporters cum employees are far to the left. You know, the fence between the Capitol building and the Temple of Justice. There's a fence that separates the Capitol building from the Temple of Justice right there. That's where supporters cum employees, you know, have been told to be seated. And usually you also have a very large group of people congesting this place, you know, as well, around the cafeteria, but that place is also really, really emptied. You don't have people there as well. And security, talking about security presence, this is just a handful of the security officers that are here today. They're in their full gears, and they've used this as a barricade. Their shields here serving as a barricade. Even those who do the selling, those who do the hawking, James, they're not allowed to come to this place as well. So the air conditioner boxes are also being used as another barrier. So this is to stop people from coming from this end and intruding in front of the Monrovia City Court. That's just that. At the main entrance, we can just take that walk as well.
So we can walk to the main entrance. Let's
just walk around a bit. So even in front of the Supreme Court, you have security guards posted to the main entrance there as well. Usually you have people trooping all about here. But it's not happening
it's
today.
okay like this, man.
It's not happening today.
At least no noise, no Amanda, wait to Amanda. We're not going to listen to this speech today.
So the grounds today, quite civil, very, very quiet. But I can tell you for sure, if we take a stroll on the grounds of the Capitol, you will see a lot of supporters there.
No, mind you, the executive mansion is not allowing people to assemble
Capitol
opposite
building?
them.
Capitol
Maybe they will
building?
enter the Capitol.
Yeah, I'm saying on the grounds of the
maybe
Capitol.
they are within the fence of the Capitol.
You see some of them there.
Yeah.
So that's a hunch, though. We could check it up and see, but I'm sure we'll see some supporters there. Yeah. So there you have it, police officers here
everywhere,
going to the main gate of the Temple of Justice. And those are the guys with the list. If your name is not on that list,
when your name not on the list, you can't enter.
No entry for you.
You gotta get name on the list. So if you come into the court today and you are a journalist, you don't have your name on that list, you will not enter.
All right.
Even us,
so you see the ERU vehicle is also stationed there. ERU officers there as well. So that's just to give you a picture. Yeah. This place, no free entry, no free access. The two entrances,
not just here.
So if you try to use the other entrance, you still not be given access to.
No, you will not still be. Yeah. But again, it is a plus for all of us, and this is not just against one party. The ALP is not allowed also to bring more than 10. The Unity Party, though Unity Party is not a part of this case, even though they brought their political leader to testify, but they are not still allowed to bring more than 10. The ANC is not allowed to bring more than 10. And I think it's okay like this. And today we have just a Jeep here from the ANC Women Congress. The last time we came here, we saw
a bus.
But today, that bus did not come in because only 10 is allowed.
And the question is quite justifiable, James. It's a justified question as to why now?
Yeah.
You know, this could have been done from the genesis of this trial, and by now everybody would have known this is the protocol. Yeah. But again, it's better late than never. Someone will argue that the government learned from her mistake by not providing. And this is a very hard-working sheriff here on the grounds of
he's one of the hard-working sheriffs. And we beg you. He's always here making sure that the vehicles are
well aligned.
Okay, thank you.
So he actually enjoys his work, though, and he makes sure that vehicles are parked properly. And So that's that. So group of supporters, as I said, COM, employees, sympathizers, they to our right, yeah, they gathered here as well.
Yeah, these are supporters of Cummings, and maybe we have mixed groups. Maybe we have some ANC folks here.
Okay.
We
So
have an update.
yeah, we have an update.
Okay, Damo is going to give you the
Okay,
update.
so
coming
update,
in.
and there's another twist.
Very beautiful.
So Senator Daniel Neten,
Move it in
Yeah.
the sun. You give me a serious update to the Liberian people. You need to relax your mind.
So Senator Daniel Neten is now in court due to medical advice that he needs to take bed rest for a week.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and the prosecution is resisting the voluntary absence of the court defendant, and you have Mr. Cummings who's present in court, and they say it's meant to delay the proceedings. So now the prosecution
now
is
accusing
alleging and
Cummings
accusing Cummings and
of-
Senator Neten of delaying proceedings.
Wow,
Yeah?
wow.
And if this happens, it will be the fourth time for Mr. Cummings to ask for voluntary absence. So Mr. Cummings is also asking for voluntary
is asking
absence
again.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So the prosecution is saying if this happens, it will be his fourth time of requesting voluntary absence.
Wow.
And Senator Neten, it asked for Senator Neten is not strange because the Fidelity Clinic, who's not part of the trial, has to write that he's ill.
Yeah.
Yeah. And from the report, the senator is currently in his county. So the prosecution is saying that Senator Neten is actually in his county.
But they have hospitals and clinics there.
But they're saying if his hospital said he needed bed rest, if he cannot have bed rest in Monrovia, and he's gone to his county on pre-campaign activities. That is what the prosecution is saying.
That's the politics part
he's
of
on
it.
pre-campaign
That's the political
activities.
part of it.
So the prosecution, however, has issued the judge to issue a writ of arrest for the senator
who?
for lying. So the Solicitor General,
Have they
who's the
been able
lead
to
chair,
establish the senator lied?
that's the argument in court right now, that the judge should issue a writ of arrest for Senator Daniel Neten.
Today.
Yeah, that
Oh
he's
my
on
God.
ground, that he's lying,
Oh
that
my
he's not sick, but rather in his county doing pre-campaign activities.
Oh, 2023 is
Yes.
tomorrow.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So that's what they're alleging. So that's the update from the Monrovia City Court.
So the voluntary excuse Cummings is asking for, he wants to travel to America again?
I don't know where he wants to travel to. But he's
Okay, let's
asking
catalog that
for
when he
arrest.
comes out. we'll
Yeah,
talk
we're
to him.
definitely asking that question, but that's the latest update from the court. So the prosecution is spraying the judge to issue a writ of arrest for Senator Daniel Neten.
And tomorrow he should be to work.
That on grounds that
The
he's not
Senate
sick
resuming tomorrow.
and he's in his county doing pre-campaign activities, and he's lying to the court. And Mr. Cummings himself is asking for leave of absence. He's asking for voluntary absence, and the prosecution again is praying the judge to deny that on grounds that Mr. Cummings, if he gets this application for voluntary absence, will be the fourth time, and he's doing all of this to delay the proceedings.
Wow.
Yeah.
So even Boakai has not started the
Yeah,
testimony.
let me get that update again. Yeah, but these are the arguments before the state will call its witness.
Wow, there we are. Maybe Cummings wants to go back to the U.S. To pay attention to some personal activities.
So live update from the Monrovia City Court.
These are updates
Yeah,
we get
updates
from
we get
our
in
correspondent
as it's
within the
unfolding
courtroom.
there. as
So
it's unfolding.
this is the beautiful part of you following Spoon. We give you live update from the courtroom, though we are not within, but we have our correspondent within, and he's giving these major updates. So keep following us. We will keep giving you live update within the court, like you are already within the courtroom. So we're going to continue.
The
Yes, Dan?
defense counsel presented a medical note from the Fidelity Clinic that guaranteeing that
Where that clinic is
is
located?
on the 20th Street,
Oh yeah, on the 20th.
right before you get to JFK.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
Okay, let's get this right. The clinic gave the note that he's ill, he needs bed rest, but
For a week.
For a week.
Yeah.
But the point is that bed rest should be done within the city instead of his capital.
Well, the issue of bed rest, that's another big argument. It's something that
He
you
has-
cannot confine someone
Yeah,
to
it should
where
not
he
be
or
confined to a
she should
specific
be
place.
rested, right? But the state argument here is, if you say someone needs bed rest, that person should be bedridden most of the
Right
time.
here.
Not only here, but shouldn't be involved in other activities.
But
Especially,
have
so the
this
state,
been established that this senator
yeah.
is campaigning within his county?
this is a code of law, and it's based on evidence. So if the state can present evidence to the judge that, okay, here is Senator Nathan,
I think-
who is
yeah.
supposed to be resting, here he is at an event, or here he is doing X, Y, and Z. Mind you, the state has got all of the resources
to get those evidence.
to get those evidence and present them.
Yeah.
That is why this is beyond reasonable doubt, because the state has got access to the resources, James, to present a case that is ironclad, that is really tight, that the evidence cannot be refuted.
Yeah, yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Good. So if the state is arguing that he's not sick, that's why I'm asking our correspondent whether or not the state has presented evidence to the fact that he's not sick, and here he is on campaign activities, on activities deemed as pre-campaign activities. Then the state can present those evidence to the judge and say, Your Honor, this is exhibit XYZ, stating that the
prove
co-defendant
that he's
is not
doing this.
is not bedridden. Here he is. And mind you, in this code of law, when you're presenting evidence, especially pictures
It's
and
not just a
videos,
mere
they
evidence.
should have time and date stamps
Yeah.
to show that this was on XYZ date. When this person said he was at this place, this is where he was. And mind you, even the defense will argue that evidence again. The defense might come up and say it's doctored, it's edited.
Yeah.
There's the man, he's at home.
And we have apps that are able to do these things.
All right. So I just told you that there might be another twist today. And as I say,
I see this case going beyond the period that some of us are projecting.
What period are you projecting?
I projected at least 2-3 months, and we're going beyond
How
that.
many months have we gone?
We're gone 5.
2 months over your projection.
Yeah. And some projected 1 year, and gradually we're moving to 1 year. 5 months out of 12, we're moving.
The thing about this is, there is another argument that justice delayed is justice denied, and there's another argument that you cannot fast track court proceedings, because if you do in your hastiness to prosecute or to convict somebody, you might overlook evidence or pieces of evidence that might be crucial, and that person might get a retrial based on new evidence that might surface. So at the end of the day, once the trial is going on, it's proceeding, you cannot go and push it and say, let's fast track it.
No, you can't.
Now, we've seen that the defendants have asked for time, voluntary absence. That alone
Let's
shows
see
that
if it will be granted.
I'm talking about the previous times.
Oh, yeah.
Voluntary absence
Yeah,
was
yeah.
granted, right? On 3 occasions. So 1 minute, James, be on the microphone. Let me take this call.
All right,
quickly.
we will continue with that. We're getting live update from within the courtroom, and we have our correspondent, Aaron Talo, who is giving us live update. So, folks, if you're just joining, we want to welcome you. This is Spoon TV. You have Joasi, Diamond Slanger, and James Gude Flomo together. We are here, and our correspondent, Aaron Talo, is within the courtroom. we will ask you to join Spoon Talk tonight because we have so many updates coming in today, and it's going to be super heavy. So again, we want to welcome all of you if you're just joining us. This is Spoon TV, and today we are in a very quiet environment. The last time we came here, this place was very noisy, but today we are in a very quiet environment due to security measures. Supporters that we had here yesterday are not here today. Another update coming in, Diamond.
Yeah.
Let's join Diamond Slanger. He's directly dealing with our correspondent within the courtroom.
Would you mind holding my very...
Let me hold your very important phone.
Yeah.
Okay, that
All
was
right.
about to give us live update. This is the importance of you following Spoon TV.
Of
Diamond,
course, we give
welcome.
you live
information.
We're putting you there in the Monrovia City Court. So the motion prayed by the defense counsel that Mr. Cummins should be... All right, please tell us how the sound quality is. If you get
Tell us if you're getting the sound.
how the sound quality is, please just leave a
If
comment.
the sound is okay, please let us know.
Yeah, just
Okay.
leave a comment quickly.
Please leave your comment to confirm if the sound is okay.
Yeah, if the
Okay.
sound is okay. All right.
Is it okay now?
Yeah. All right.
It's okay, right?
All right. Good. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you guys for the update.
Isaac says great.
It's good. All right. Great. All right. So live updates. Yes.
Live update.
Yeah.
Welcome to Spoon TV again.
All right. So the defense counsel.
Welcome, Honorable Diamond Slanger.
Thank
Can you give us
Thank you.
the live
Thank you.
update?
Call me Spot News right now.
Sport News
Okay.
Director.
All right, thank you. So the live updates from the Monrovia City Court right now, the judge has given the two counsels, the defense and the prosecution, 7 minutes to argue the motion filed by the defense lawyer, Councilor Abraham Silla, that Mr. Cummins should be given voluntary absence.
Okay.
So the judge has given them 7 minutes to argue on the merits and the demerits of whether or not Mr. Cummins should be given the leave of absence or the voluntary leave from proceedings. So, and for the former vice president, he's still seated. He has not taken a witness stance yet. He's still seated. So based on this motion, if the judge grants this motion,
Meaning he
meaning
will not testify.
he will not testify today.
My God.
They'll have to wait until Mr. Cummins is back for the former vice president to testify.
What out of these breaks within this case?
All right. So, what motion are we talking about? Mr. Cummins, through his lawyers, have prayed the judge of the Monrovia City Court, Judge Joe Manjala, that he, Mr. Cummins, should be given a time off for voluntary absence, and also the co-defendant, Senator Daniel Nete, is currently not present because he's said to be on medical leave for 1 week, according to the hospital note. He should be given 1 week of
rest.
bed rest, to re-energize and reinvigorate himself. And the state is saying in her argument that Senator Nathan should be arrested, that he's lying, according to the
So
lead
the
prosecutor.
argument that they're going to be going through is
It's
that
not
also
for Mr.
included?
Cummins. It's for
Only for Mr.
Yeah,
Cummins.
Mr. Cummins.
So
leave.
ask our
Yeah.
correspondent again. What's the update on Nathan's?
on whether or not. So, all right. So he's sending in more updates. So this argument now is whether or not Mr. Cummins should be granted a voluntary absence, and that will make it the 4th time since this trial started that he will be given voluntary absence. And the state is saying that it's all due to time-wasting tactics that Mr. Cummins and his defense counsel are trying to delay.
Cummins' legal team has also been accusing
The
the
state
state
of
of wasting
delay.
time.
So there you have it, accusation and counter-accusation as to who's wasting time and who's making this case to go at a snail's pace. Yeah. So more updates, and James,
go
you can
ahead.
continue in the commentary.
No,
as
go
we-
ahead.
As we get more
I'm
updates
talking to the
from the
CEO. I
Monrovia
think he
City
wants to
Court.
give us an update.
Yeah. Whether or not Ambassador Joseph Yuman Boakai, the former vice president, will testify today remains to be unsaid, but both counsels, the defense and the prosecution, have been given 7 minutes by the judge to argue on the merits and the demerits as to whether or not Mr. Cummins should be given the 4th voluntary absence on grounds that he needs medical attention. Yeah. And Senator Nathan is currently not in court, who's a co-defendant. He's not in court because he's said to be on sick leave for a week on hospital advice that he should be in bed for 1 week. But the prosecution is arguing that the senator is not resting, rather, he's on pre-campaign activities and using this as a means to not appear in court. Yeah, to not appear in court.
So continue. Let me talk to.
Yeah, and once a document is sent to court, it is also, in a way, a testimony, a testament. So if the hospital that sent the letter that the senator should be given 1 week of bed rest, if the prosecution can prove that it's fake, meaning that hospital has committed perjury, lying on an oath to the judge that this person is sick and the person is not sick, according to the prosecution led by the Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia, the Senator Daniel Nathan, is not sick. Yeah, all right. So the request for Senator Daniel Nathan to be absent was never authorized by the court. That is what the prosecution is saying, that the request was never authorized by the court. Rather, he got his medical result, he got his medical note that stipulated he should take 1 week of bed rest and didn't submit it to the bench, that is to the judge, and the judge didn't authorize him being absent from court. So meaning he left court arbitrarily. He's not present today arbitrarily, and the state is pressing for a motion for the judge to issue an arrest warrant for Senator Nathan. So that is the argument from the prosecution, that the request for Senator Daniel Nathan to be absent was never authorized by the court, meaning he went on being absent at his own will without any sort of relevance given to the bench, that is to Judge Joma Jala. So whether or not the judge is going to take that as contempt and issue an arrest warrant for Senator Nathan, we still here will be giving you more information as the arguments from both counsels, both tables, that is the prosecution and the defense, continues in the Monrovia City Court. So the former Vice President Joseph Boakai is yet to take the witness stand. He's still sitting as this argument is ongoing. So James, the latest update, the prosecution is saying that the senator's absence was never authorized by the court. So he's on his own. He decided not to come to court based on his medical advice that the defense is submitting to the judge. And the prosecution is also arguing that Fidelity Clinic is not a co-defendant to the case, and they shouldn't be issuing hospital statements or medical reports that the senator shouldn't be present today as well. So Mr. Cummins is going to render his decision. Diamond Slanger here with James S. Gude Flomo. Jurassic Joe is our producer, stroke cameraman today. We live here on the ground of the Temple of Justice. Just behind me is the Monrovia City Court, where all of the legal drama is currently ongoing. Today we're free of a lot of political chantings, a lot of congestion due to the heavy, very heavy security presence provided by the Liberian National Police officers in their full riot gears, as well as with assault rifles and tear gas canister guns also present here. The presence of media practitioners, journalists from various media houses drastically reduced as well due to a list at the entrance there of the Temple of Justice. Once your name is not shortlisted, you will not be granted access to the grounds here. So many supporters, the larger contingent of supporters, have not been able to access the grounds today. It's quite very, very quiet here, I should say, and barricades all around. You can feel the breeze from the ocean as well because of the less congestion here today. So we'll take a view around with you as well.
Okay, folks, welcome. We were trying to get something straight up here. We are very sorry for that delay, but welcome back.
All right, folks, as Jim said, you're welcome. Sorry for the break there and the audio transmission that was due to technical hitches, and thankfully we've been able to sort them out. We're still live here, just in front of the Monrovia City Court, where the trial of the ANC political leader Alexander Cummings, his co-defendants Aloysius Stowe and Senator Daniel Nete is currently ongoing. We have the former Vice President, His Excellency Ambassador Joseph Yuman Boakai is also there in the Monrovia City Court. Whether or not he will testify today remains unknown. But the current argument before Judge Joe Manjala of the Monrovia City Court has got to do with the absence of Senator Daniel Neten. The prosecution is arguing that Senator Neten did not get his medical leave authorized by the court, and hence he has jumped bail. That is their argument, and they're praying the judge to issue a writ of arrest for Senator Neten. And bail jumping is a third-degree felony in our jurisdiction, in our jurisprudence. Bail jumping is a third-degree felony, and that might result in a 1-year jail sentence. So the prosecution is arguing that Senator Daniel Neten has jumped bail for his failure not to appear today for proceedings here at the Monrovia City Court. And according to the prosecution, the senator is currently in his county doing pre-campaign activities, and his hospital note from the Fidelity Clinic should not be honored because Fidelity is not a party to the trial. Fidelity is not a co-defendant, and if a hospital note comes from the Fidelity Clinic, it should have been submitted to both parties. Both the prosecution and the defense counsel should have a copy, and the judge should have been served, and subsequently through arguments granting Senator Neten medical absence. We also gotten information from within the Monrovia City Court that Mr. Cummings is also praying for voluntary absence. The prosecution, though, is alleging that this is a tactic. The prosecution is arguing that this is a tactic from the defense to stall the court proceedings, to stall the trial as a way of delaying things. Mind you, both parties have been accusing the other of stalling and at a snail pace, like keeping this trial going. The defense is alleging that the government is stalling this trial, delaying this trial so as to drag Mr. Cummings into election year and so as to have his attention here at the court and for him not to be conjuring votes as well, to be campaigning for votes. Now, Mr. Cummings' team has also alleged that the government is doing all of this again so as to deepen the rift between Mr. Cummings and Mr. Boakai. According to the lead counsel of Mr. Cummings, Councillor Abraham Silla, the government intentionally has brought Mr. Boakai here, who's the leader of the Unity Party, to testify, not to provide evidentiary value to the case, not to provide legal value to the case or expert value to the case, but rather as a political move to deepen the rift, to say, oh, Boakai, so you testified against Cummings, so we cannot be friends, we cannot have a political merger, whatever way it goes. All right, so now the former vice president is now to take the witness stand, James. Yeah, the former vice president will now take the witness stand. The judge has reserved ruling in the motion filed. So the judge has reserved ruling in the motion filed by the defense counsel to grant Mr. Cummings a week's absence, voluntary absence, and in the motion to issue a writ of arrest for Senator Daniel Neten. The judge has reserved ruling to that motion. So right now in the Monrovia City Court, the former vice president, we have the leader of the Liberty Party, Honorable Musa Hassan Belete, has arrived as well. Chairman Belete, welcome, Spoon TV, sir.
Yeah, how are you doing?
We're fine, sir. So your presence here today, sir, is it to provide support for Mr. Cummings or just to observe what is happening?
No, I mean to show support to Mr. Cummings. Why else?
There are allegations that this case, Mr. Boakai has been brought here mainly to deepen the rift between Mr. Cummins and Mr. Boakai, as well as the opposition bloc. Do you sense this as a strategy by the ruling government?
I mean, that was a choice that Mr. Boakai made, and so he has to answer that question to see opposition collaborating with government to prosecute a fellow opposition. I can't speak to that.
So,
I feel disgusted that VP Boakai will come here to assist the government in demeaning another opposition. It is disgusting.
so you sense that his testimony is going to be demeaning because he's here to testify.
It's
whether
just
in favor
wrong. I
of
mean,
Mr.
it's a plot against an opposition, concocted lies, and then you come to testify to lies.
Is he a
for
traitor
all-
in your understanding?
Yes, that's betrayal.
On the issue of the core group, your issue was on
I don't want to talk about something that I was not part of. I'm not part of any core group. Those who are part of it, they have spoken about. I don't believe in core group. I am Musa Belete. I'm very predictable. Every one of you know what I stand for, what I mean, and that's it.
The security presence here, Chairman Billy,
It's very good. Yes, I welcome
It's
it.
not intimidating from Mr.
No,
Cummins?
absolutely not. This is not intimidating Mr. Cummins. Mr. Cummins is a Liberian, and the government had decided to provide security for everybody. We welcome that.
Others have said it's a little bit too late. This should have been done from the genesis of this trial.
No, it's better late than never.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you. So, Chairman Bility there terming the former vice president as a traitor. James, he just said he's a traitor to form part of a conspiracy to disintegrate the opposition. He's disappointed in his term that Mr. Boakai's testimony, though he has not testified yet, he's just sticking to the witness stands according to our source there. But he says that is demeaning.
Yeah, I expected that from him because they are not in the same boat. And Mr. Ure just left the courtroom, and the reason for that is he's a possible witness to this case, so he cannot sit and witness a testimony of another witness into the case. So I'm sure that is the reason why Ure had to walk away. He just got in his vehicle and he's on his way out of the
You
courtroom.
talked about frowns. According to our judicial correspondent there, Mr. Boakai is smiling as he has taken the witness stands. He's smiling. So whether if that is an ironic smile to Mr. Cummins, like the smile before the doom, and he's being prepped by the Solicitor General. Okay. So he has taken the witness stand, folks, but he's still in conversation with the Solicitor General, and the UP standard bearer is all smiles.
Yeah, he will, in order to show that, yes, this place is a different terrain. Let's leave our politics out of the courtroom. When we get out there, we can get back to our political field. But here, let's show love. But at times you will see, there is this saying that says, white tea, what? Black hat, right? Yeah,
sometimes purple or red hat.
Yeah, sometimes red hat, blue hats, these things will come out. Yeah,
so the brief conversation with Chairman Bility, that goes to show how deep this rift is. To go to the extent of calling the former vice president a traitor, a regime collaborator, as being party to the disintegration of the opposition bloc. There was criticism against Chairman Bility that he's in bed with the ruling party, even when the Seko Kalasco audio came out, and now he's the one again accusing another opposition hierarchy member, key hierarchy member, as in the Unity Party's standard bearer, of being a regime collaborator. So the testimony of the former vice president has begun. He's been asked about his employment status.
Employment?
Yes.
Yeah, what's his response?
Yes. So we'll be getting the information, his employment status.
So Boakai has been asked whether he's employed.
Yeah.
And we hope to give you that answer.
Yeah.
Whether the former vice president is going to say, yes, I'm employed. But I think he's not employed.
So what this question is leading to, we will get the
Tell our
the full
correspondent
answer.
to make it clear who's asking the question.
The
It should
Solicitor
be the
General is
Solicitor General.
asking
Yeah.
the
Solicitor
the
General
witness
should be-
is his witness, so
Yeah.
he will examine his witness, and then
Yeah.
the defense will cross-examine
Yeah.
if they don't waive their right to. So more
There's no way they're
more
going to waive
information.
their right.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
So Liberia's 12 years former vice president is on stage currently testifying into the framework document saga. And first question to him has to do with his employment status.
Yeah.
He has
So-
been asked whether he's employed.
All right. So he said he's self-employed. He's an agriculturalist.
Okay.
That was why he said yes. So the first question is his employment status. Though retired from the vice presidency, having served his 2 terms as constitutionally mandated, no longer a vice president, but contested for the presidential seat, did lose to the ruling president. His first question was what his employment status, if he's employed. And he said, yes, I'm an agriculturalist. Yes, so his answer is yes, he's an agriculturalist. So as the questions keep coming, the response, we will be giving you live updates. So though we cannot take a camera, that motion was denied to publicly, broadcast the trial, but we will be here and bringing you information as it unfolds in the Monrovia City Court. So the former vice president is on the witness stand right now. And the first question, are you employed? What's your employment status? So yes, I'm employed. I am an agriculturalist.
Another update just arrived.
Yeah, so we're waiting for more updates, more updates as they filter in.
So, folks, if you're just joining us, we are still here at the Temple of Justice, and as we speak, former Vice President Joseph Human Boakai, who served Liberia for 12 years, is currently testifying into what idea that he has regarding the CPP framework document. And the first question that was directed to him from the Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia was whether he's employed, and he said yes, he's self-employed. So let's continue. We will keep bringing you more updates as they unfold from the Monrovia City Court, and we're going to continue with this gradually until we conclude today's coverage and return here during the next assignment. So be with us. We will give you a gradual update as they unfold from the Temple of Justice. So you have to bear with us, share, and allow others to follow. And again, don't forget later tonight, join us on Spoon Talk, where the team will do their analysis about this entire case.
All right, so the second question to the former vice president is whether he knows the defendant, Mr. Cummins. And he said, yes,
I know him.
he knows the defendant. And the next question will be, how do you know him?
How do you?
Yeah, what relationship do you people
what
have?
relationship
Yeah, do
you
people
have
enjoy?
with him or you have with him?
Yeah, so we're not preempting the questions.
Yeah, but we are looking at possible
questions. Yeah.
Possible questions that will come.
So the former vice president has been asked whether he knows the defendant, Mr. Cummins, and his answer is yes. The first question, all right, so he called Mr. Cummins' name. He knows all of them and the others. So the Solicitor General is the one asking the questions to the former vice president right now. So Mr. Boakai has mentioned Mr. Cummins' name, that he knows him, and he knows the others as well. And he mentioned their names. So I have to ask if he knows the defendants. It's not one defendant, there are several defendants.
So he confirmed that
he knows all of them. Yeah, he knows Mr. Aloysius Stowe. He knows Mr. Daniel Nathan, who's absent, and his absence is causing another argument. The motion has been filed for his arrest from the Solicitor General that he should be arrested for jumping bail, and the defense counsel is saying he's sick and he should be granted 1 week of bed rest. So the judge has reserved ruling to that particular motion as well, James. So the second question is, do you know the defendants? And the former vice president said, yes, I know them. And he mentioned Mr. Cummins, his name, and Senator Nathan, and that of Aloysius Stowe. So let's wait for the next update, James. The prosecution is building proximity
Proximity with who?
to the defendants.
Okay.
That if you know them, if you know their character, if you've interacted with them,
Yeah, these are questions.
proximity questions. You want to get the witnesses' knowledge about the defendants, because I cannot know you afar and testify to your character. That's one thing. So the SG is trying to bring about proximity. If he knows the defendants, what's his relationship with them? The employment question is to establish whether or not he's money driven. If you are employed, you make your own money. The notion is you're not easily manipulated.
Yeah.
So are you employed? Yes, I am. Gainfully employed. I'm an agriculturalist. So meaning we didn't have to give you money to bring you here. So the SG is toying around proximity now. He's going around proximity. And Mr. Boakai has said he knows them from the ANC. So Mr. Boakai, from this answer, whether or not the SG is going to ask whether they enjoy a personal relationship is now keeping it professional.
Yeah.
Keeping it professional. That I know them from the ANC. Whether he knows them personally, we want to see if the SG will try to establish that. Yeah.
Yeah, basically he will ask that question.
Whether he knows them personally.
The
but
relationship
the vice president
between
has
them.
said he knows them from the
Yeah,
ANC.
the relationship. The former vice president.
All right.